And welcome back again, folks, to The View from Here, Behind Enemy Lines. Uh, okay, we just wrapped up one episode, which I'll be publishing today, but we're going to do this one. I'm going to publish it a little later in the week because we were sitting here. We had nothing else to do. AJ couldn't show up. So now, what was it we were talking about just before we started taping?
What we did before we all had computers.
That's right. What did we used to do before we had computers? I used to read a lot years ago. I used to read a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting thing. I used to use an actual telephone, and if I wanted to call somebody, when I was well, we didn't even call it a landline. It was just a fucking telephone.
It was a phone.
It was a phone.
So, and wait a minute. When you were in the house, remember, it was stuck to the wall. You couldn't move it too far because depending on how long the connection cord was. But you had the cord connecting the handset to the thing. If you got a 20-foot one, then you could get away from mom's over in the kitchen. You're answering the thing. I was answering the thing right around through the doorway in the hallway. But I could take the cord was long enough that I could put the phone on the floor and take the cord into my bedroom and talk privately there.
Right. Now,
I used to watch a lot more TV than I do now too.
Right. What did we call that when?
Here's another thing we used to do before we had computers and the internet. We actually believed the media. We believed the news.
I was a bit of an anarchist when I was younger, so no, I didn't believe the news. But the thing is, like, I read newspapers. There were things.
We read newspapers. I read newspapers every day. Well, what I wanted with the newspaper, first thing I'd do, of course, would go right to the comics. Calvin and Hobbes and Far Side were the first two I'd read. Then I'd read because the Star Ledger. The good thing about the Star Ledger, they had 2 pages of cartoon.
Star Ledger is a New Jersey newspaper that was considered one of the better newspapers.
No, it was not. It was always considered a piece of shit until the Newark Evening News died. The Newark Evening News was a great paper. Unfortunately, it died, and when it went, the better writers the better journalists, real journalists from that newspaper went over to the Star Ledger, and then the Ledger became readable.
That's what I'm talking.
I had my history teacher, Mr. O'Rourke.
So it's not that the Star Ledger was a bad one; it's just that it had a bad start. So anyway,
it was the only one. It was the only one, really. Okay. Now, they no longer publish a paper version. They're all online now.
Okay,
but first they're lying as much as any leftist journal does. Go ahead.
Another thing that we weren't able to do as much as we wanted to, take photos. Photographs was a process. You actually had to have a thing called a camera, an actual and you had to put film in it, and you had to actually unless it was like one of these what was it? Kodak had Polaroid. Okay, and then what was really a big deal is when they had the disposable cameras that had so many shots in it. It was you'd have to send the entire unit to the
was early recycling. They'd take the film out and then reload it with blank film and sell it again.
Here's something you haven't seen in years: 1 hour photo. There were these little booths.
That was a big deal. My God, yeah, you just took the thing and you couldn't wait to look at it. So you went to 1 hour photo and you paid a little premium rather than mail it away and then weeks later it would come back. Just like remember the opening of Death Wish, where Charles Bronson comes back from his vacation, his wife is killed and all. Then he gets home and he gets to pay the photos from their vacation.
No,
and he's looking at him and it hits him hard.
Here's with the photos, negatives,
because this way you could reprint the photographs. You sent the negatives in, told them which ones you wanted, gave them the number, and they would reprint it.
And sometimes they would turn the negatives into slideshows.
You could then they came out with slide film.
Yes,
that were made directly into slides. Didn't even become photos.
Yeah, and how many teachers taught the classes with a slideshow and the slides were out of order?
or the thing would jam.
Forget that PowerPoint garbage.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was more fun. It was more fun with the thing, and you had that buzzing sound going from the electricity humming through the projector, and you could see the dust going through the light that was shining on the screen.
Here's another interesting thing. You used to go to the bank and get money.
Well, you still go to the bank and get money, but you
No,
don't
they
have
don't.
to go into the bank to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You can do it in your car. You can do it walking up to a window in the lobby.
Most of the people under 40 don't even use cash anymore.
Yeah, all car. Yeah, it's
Paying
ridiculous, and I find myself doing it too. Use the wallet. You got the credit card. It's more convenient than digging for money and change in my pocket, or maybe I don't have enough, and I'll do it. But it's ridiculous when you see kids. They'll go and buy coffee at a Starbucks or buy a soda at a convenience store, and they pay with the credit card.
If there was a thing called a human mousetrap, okay, in the little section where you would try to grab for the treat, it would be called convenience. Convenience is one of the things that messes us up, such as that 5-page legal document that you say yes to just to get past the software questions.
Oh yeah, does anybody ever read those things?
Oh yeah.
I used to try to read them years ago in the early days of the internet. Now it's just like, oh yeah. You know, I wonder if that's a good excuse in court. Well, you assented to this, but Your Honor, nobody reads these fucking things. Do you?
Here's something that people had to do before the computers became common. They had to go to a store to go shopping, and had to actually go to places to go shopping. And now you don't even have to leave your house. You can
To
actually
buy
be
things from
shredded.
overseas from home. I remember every Saturday my mother would go downtown Newark to shop, and usually she would take me or my brothers or one of us. Like maybe this week I'd go, maybe next week Richie'd go, and so forth. But used to go to downtown Newark. My mom would take the bus down there, and we'd take the bus down there, or my father, if he was free, would drop us off or pick us up later on. But mostly we took the bus. We'd go down there. This was when Broad and Market Street was safe to
You're off
to
camera.
walk around in.
You're off camera.
And what's that?
You're off camera.
Okay. And whatchamacallit? Where was I? Oh, go to Bamberger's. Hey, a lot of these stores are gone now, not just in Newark, but gone, period. Bamberger's is now Macy's. Bamberger's always was part of the Macy's family. But because of some laws or whatever, they had to call themselves Bamberger's in New Jersey, and they were Macy's, in New York. But now you still have the Macy's building there. But Hanes, gone. S. Kresge, gone. McCrory's, gone. What were some of the other ones? Lord and Taylor has been gone for a few years. There's a big Lord and Taylor in building in Westfield. It's been vacant for years now.
Woolworths.
Oh yeah, Woolworths was right there at the bus stop. What?
Kmart.
Kmart died
Just
within
recently.
the last decade or so, right? They closed the last one.
Here's something that you couldn't do back then. You couldn't watch movies at your leisure. If you want to see a movie, you either went to the movie house or you hoped to find it on TV at an hour that you had to be there in order to watch it.
Yeah, that was before until you got the VCRs.
Right. But here's the other thing. TV was everything. It was man. You needed
a lifeline to the world.
Yeah, news, weather, the whole 9 yards. Your entertainment.
And before TV became ubiquitous, it was radio. Everybody sat around the radio and listened. The way that we used to sit around the TV at night with the family, especially on Sunday nights to watch. First Lawrence Welk and then later on Ed Sullivan and so forth. All right.
Here's another thing that you couldn't
had these people on the radio. Go ahead.
That you couldn't do then. You couldn't go to college without leaving the house. So now you can go to school online. You couldn't have business meetings unless you actually went to a place where people would meet.
Yeah, and now you don't have to fly across the country to a meeting. You can do it on the computer.
And what's even great is in the middle of that meeting, if you set your camera up right, you can take a dump. And
Yeah, yeah.
nobody's going to
Well,
know. Right?
you had
I'm
one.
watching someplace right now. You can't see it. You don't know
No,
what's.
no, wait. There was a Zoom call that one of the Democrat politicians was on a few years ago, where he started masturbating during the meeting. He didn't realize that it was catching what he was doing.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
because he's a Democrat. He's a Democrat.
well, here
Okay.
you brought up another subject. Uh, Easy access to porn. It used to be if you wanted porn, you'd have to buy a magazine and
Oh
take
no,
it
I
home.
remember. Wait, that's what I missed this though. In the mail, sometimes I get a thing in a unmarked envelope, and it would be uh, advertisements for porn, for books, for magazines, and for films, 16 millimeter films you could, or 8 millimeter films you could buy, and those. I still have a couple of these hidden over here somewhere I've had for like, I don't know, 40, 50 years. They
My
came in the mail, and
money.
I found them a couple of times going through some stuff that I was looking for. So
Um,
a
here's
little
another
catalog.
here's another thing that you couldn't do if you wanted to learn how to work on your car or whatever. You'd have to buy a manual. Now you go to YouTube and you watch a do-it-yourself program.
Yeah. Well, you can even put the phone right there and follow along and pause it when you need to and so forth.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
But before you needed some specialized knowledge.
Oh, here's another thing you couldn't do back then. You could only imagine what a location looked like on the map. Now, because of Google Maps, you can
Oh,
actually virtual drive it.
Google
I said
Earth.
on one of the Google Maps, they must have taken the picture while I was outside because it's me dumping the garbage on the spot. It's hysterical. I couldn't believe it. I said, that's me.
Yeah, yeah, because Google sends drivers all over the place. But Google Earth is great because you can, oh, I want to see what his house looks like. And boom, you put in the address and it goes to that part of the world and shows you, from above. And you could get a 3D view down a street view and so forth. Not perfect, but really, really close. And you can get the details of, okay, the house looks like this. It's that color. It's on this intersection. You got trees here. You got a yard there. It's amazing what you could find out using that stuff. And before with those maps, no. Oh, that's what I do dislike though about GPS. People can't read maps anymore.
I know.
My son years ago, when he was still in high school, he worked for a deli that used to deliver. It was a Jewish deli, and they had a lot of Jewish customers, a lot of people with money. Sometimes he'd have to drive down to Deal from this area here, from Union County. Deal is a very wealthy town down the shore, and I asked him, they really liked him, and he worked there for 2 or 3 years. And I said, so how come they liked you so much? You're not being Jewish and everything. He said, because I was one of the few people who could read a map. So he was a good delivery guy because he could read a map, and a lot of the other kids got lost all the time.
Well, here's the thing. This is a book. Very few people have them anymore. Now everything's digital, so you can walk around with a bloody library at your disposal in your back pocket.
Yes. Oh, you have the entire library in your back pocket. Hey, look at it. See, this is mine. It's the same book you got, but a different edition.
Right.
Okay.
So,
but yeah, this thing here, you used to if you were doing a research paper or something, you had to go to the library, either at school or you had to go to the library when it was open on Monday to get the information you needed. Or if you were lucky, like I was, you had an encyclopedia that your parents bought you. Okay. And you could look things up like that. And I used to like to read, and I used to like to go through the encyclopedia just, randomly looking at things or looking up things I was interested in. And that's how I got good at, for example, Trivial Pursuit.
here's something
I just learned things on my own. What?
Carbon copies. Carbon
copies. My God. Yeah. I remember doing term papers or essays.
If you want multiple copies of something, you have to put a piece of carbon paper. And the carbon paper would start running out, and sometimes it wouldn't completely copy everything the way you wanted it to.
Yeah. After a few pages, you had to turn it upside down to hoping you get better spaces and so forth.
Fortunately, you also needed whiteout.
And whiteout only, for a long time, if you type something and you screwed up on the page, I got to type the whole page again. But with whiteout, no, you just cover it up because you used to be able to erase, but then it would leave smudges on the paper.
The electric typewriters, some of the really good ones, they had one of the sections was actually an eraser that would actually type the whiteout. But that yeah,
but that was later on. The lady who invented the whiteout, you know who that was? She was the mother of I can't remember his name now. One of the guys who was in the Monkey, the tall guy,
the Monkeys?
Mike Nesmith. His mother invented whiteout.
Okay,
and so she was worth tens of millions of dollars. Okay.
Wow, just for some paint.
So,
mm-hmm.
So that was nice.
Okay. Let's see. So much stuff going on with computers. Oh, we talked about banking. Okay.
Games. You had to use board games or card games.
That's
true. You had to be there in person.
Yep.
You couldn't do it online. You couldn't do it. You couldn't put a CD in or something and play the game. No, you had to have a board game, on which to play the game, I should say.
Yep. All kinds
which
of
you do regularly anyway. You do every week. You're a gamer.
I didn't think of it first. I should have.
You should have.
Yeah. We talked about shopping, browsing on Amazon.
Oh, shopping for a car.
Yeah.
You used to have to go waste a whole day arguing with the salesman, and then getting screwed when I just got to approve this with my boss. Comes back, oh no, he said I can't do it. You're going to have to give me $50 more here a month or whatever, or I got to add another $300 for this or that, and you go back and forth, and you waste a whole day. Okay, now you go online and lock it up.
Well, here's an interesting thing. In 2020, I sold my house, and most of the business, I never met anybody really except my agent. Most of the business was done by me signing digital documents. I never left
before the house. You had to go to the closing. You had to be there at the office, the lawyer's office, and do everything.
Yeah,
now,
and how about this? Money transfers. You can transfer money to any account that you want digitally.
Yeah. Oh, I'm short of money in the bank tomorrow. I can't get to the bank in time. What am I going to do? Now I just go online, transfer from here to there. It depends on how quick the transfer goes between banks too. Sometimes it takes 2 days.
Before computers were very popular, you couldn't get so easily robbed. These hackers go into your accounts and steal your money. Before, it was very difficult if somebody was going to rob, they were going to rob an institution, or they were going to rob you at gunpoint. They weren't going to go ahead and hack your account and steal your money.
They were going to wait in the parking lot of the bank.
There you go. But even then,
I remember
it's only open during the morning, the daylight. So there was, that not a good time to rob people in the middle of the day.
Remember when you were going to go out or something, and all of a sudden, if somebody calls up, well, let's go out to dinner or a movie. Oh shit, I don't have enough money and the bank's closed. What am I going to do? The bank closed at 3:00, Monday through Friday. 3:00 it was closed. If you were lucky, you had them open till 12 or 1:00 on Saturdays. But after that, you were screwed. Then along came the ATM machine. I think the Howard Bank was the first one around here to have that. Okay, and I used to be able to go and take up to $200 at a time out.
I remember it was
all of a sudden something came up. You just went to the ATM. You took out some money, and you were gold.
There was a bank on
before that. You were screwed. You'd have to say, "Hey, look, can you loan me $100? I'll pay you Monday after I go to the bank."
Actually, yeah, there was a lot of that. How about this? AI making all kinds of images. My favorite entertainment that I see now is like where they go, okay, let's get a modern movie like The Lord of the Rings, and how would it look like if it was made in 1940? And they show a trailer, and it's just like they get the actors from that period, they have everything set up, It's pretty amazing. They did this. They did the Lord of the Rings in the 1950s. So you had a lot of the famous actors of that period, in the movie. It's just hysterical to see it that way.
What annoys me about AI, I'm watching something on YouTube and it's something interesting. It might be a semi documentary or a type of documentary thing, and they're telling you about this era or this event or this person, and they go on, and then you realize this is not a real narrator; it's AI, and you can always tell because when it gets to an anagram, it has to pronounce the anagram literally. It can't say YMCA. It'll go like the or whatever. It tries to pronounce the anagram.
That's a word, yeah.
So, but it's annoying because it's impersonal. It's not a real person telling you the story like you thought it would be or like it used to be.
There's a lot.
I mean, maybe that's a personal thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm being picky.
Here, when it's not a person reading, you can hear it. It's
A lot of times, yeah.
perfect.
They use the same voice. They use the same voice in a lot of these things.
And the problem is that the English language, its pronunciation, it does not always translate well. So there's that.
I wonder how AI handles Chinese. Well, I guess it'd be okay because Chinese
I have
has
the answer to that. It's inscrutable. Right? Yeah. So,
is that just the Chinese that were inscrutable, or were Asians in general inscrutable?
well, depends on what
I
war
think the Chinese and the Japanese were both inscrutable. They also hate each other.
Yeah, the Chinese and the Japanese. Well, I studied a lot of Chinese and Japanese philosophy, and I can understand why that way of thinking is so obscure. You know, there's certain conclusions that are made in Taoism and in Hinduism. Well, not Hinduism, but in Taoism and in Zen Buddhism that are not common in Western culture. So, of course,
Right. The Western mind works differently.
yes.
Just as American humor is lost on a lot of Europeans,
Yeah,
even if they speak good English.
there are two different modes of transportation, but they both get you where you want to go. So here's the thing that we've been kind of talking around: credit cards. There was a time in the 50s when I think the credit cards first came out, and they were just only for the elite. You had to have permission from God in order to have a American
Credit
Express
card.
or
Yeah,
a
you had to
Diamond
be
card.
wealthy or upper middle class and own the business.
Right. Well, the thing is that um, when credit cards started becoming ubiquitous, everything changed. And here's something that also computers did that we talked about around GPS. I remember when I was early days of hiking and backpacking, I had no communication. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a GPS or any of that other
You
stuff.
got lost. You got lost.
You had to have your maps. So nowadays, it's GPS and all that stuff, but it's unerringly accurate. It's amazing how pinpoint it is.
If you have wireless, though, no,
The what?
you have to have a connection. It has to be connected to the internet somehow, or to the.
Well, it's.
I mean, if you get no signal, the GPS is useful. No, not totally useless because my Waze, for example, says we're not connected to the internet. We're giving you an estimate, but once you connect, then we'll straighten it out.
I think the GPS system, the way it works, is there's various signals out in space and some satellites, and your GPS system triangulates, and then your software inside of the unit that you're reading is the one that adds the map to it. I think that's how it works.
And you don't have to carry maps or a compass around. Remember, you used to have to carry a compass.
Right. Of course, that your battery fails. I always carry a map when I go backpacking. And I do find that the GPS is just another piece of equipment that confirms where I am. So it's like, it's nice. And the phone is more important because if I get injured, I do a lot of solo hikes. So it's nice to know that you've got that going for you.
Well, that's why a lot of people who can afford it, because they're expensive, they're not cheap, they will get satellite phones.
The first computer I owned was the Commodore Rainbow
64.
computer.
Oh,
It had a 3.8K of RAM, a total of 16K of memory, which included the kernel, which was the operating system and everything. Uh, it was something. If you programmed properly, you could fill up your entire screen with X's or your initials or whatever, and it was amazing. I mean, the first time here's the thing. Before computers, if you wanted an arcade game, you had to go to the arcade and play pinball or some of these clever mechanical games that they had, or skee ball or whatever. And then all of a sudden, Atari came out, and you could play Pong, and you could play Tank, and you could start playing games on your TV. Woo! On your TV!
Asteroid.
Woo!
Asteroid.
Yeah, and you had a little switch that would swap from your antenna to your game system. You had the
Right.
switch set in the back. It was made out of crap. It looked like a can of sardines.
You know what was funny? One Christmas we gave my parents an Atari 5200. Okay.
Wow.
And when we would go over, I'd go over sometimes, and they'd be playing, the two of them. They were very competitive with each other, and my mother would complain that your father's cheating and this and that. And sometimes, and I saw him do it once or twice, where like my mother was getting the advantage, and he'd like hit her arm so that she would screw up.
Nice.
She would go crazy. She'd go
Make
ballistic.
it real.
It was funny, man, because they would battle like, oh my god.
Greeting cards. There was a time when people would actually send people greeting cards for
By
different
mail.
events, like Easter and this, that, and the other thing. But now, what do? We text them. We text them,
or if you want to get fancy, you got the greetings, 1, 2, 3 greetings, or yeah. Oh, even invites. You no longer get invite. I get invites from my cousin to her husband's birthday, to my cousin's birthday from his wife. It's an evite, so you got to print it out.
Before you had computers, you would actually have a key, and you would put it into a thing called the ignition, and you would turn it, and it would cause your car to start. But now we have these smart thingies, and it talks to the computer inside your car, and it turns it on for you.
Well, that if you have one of those key fobs and you don't have a key, because some key fobs have the thing, and you flip it, and the key comes out, and you put it in. But the ones where, like I have, where it's just a fob, and then as long as it's close by, I can start the car. But if it's not working to open the door, you can actually open, and there's a thing that opens up, a key is inside, you pull it out, and you can unlock the door that way.
Right. Yeah. That's what I have. The access to the lock, the physical lock on the door, is covered by a plate. So you pull out you disconnect the key from that, and you go ahead and you manage it in such a way that you expose the key slot. Now you do that, okay, and then you open the door, and then you close it back in, and what happens is you press the fob into the starter button, and there's a transformer action that takes place. So the car's system transfers the energy to the key fob, and it reads it and says, "Okay," turns it on.
Oh, wow.
That's
Well, if the key fob dies, you can still start the car with it.
Well, yes. In other words, if the battery is dead, then it can be energized by pressing it directly into it.
Okay, cool. All right.
Here's another thing that used to happen a lot, that doesn't happen very much now because of computers. Misspellings. I write things down, and it fixes my spelling for me. And I go,
yes.
I thought you spelled fart GUFAT. Oh, that's not? Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes it screws up. You're trying to say one thing and it changes it. Autocorrect. Autocorrect. I hate that because sometimes it changes the whole meaning of what you're doing, or it just makes no sense whatsoever. And two and two, TOTOO, it changes those sometimes too. It puts it in the wrong one. And I remember one time I posted a thing on my Instagram that was, the guy who invented auto spell has died. May he roast in piss.
That is funny.
Okay. Another thing you can do online, I've done it several times. My girlfriend has done it too. You can buy your eyeglasses online. There's a place that we go, Zenny. They got the best prices and good service and all, and good guarantees. And what you do is you could try your eyeglasses virtually, even on your phone. You can see how it looks on you. Okay. And, the only thing is you have to have the measurement between your two eyes. And optometrists won't give it to you. They don't want to give it to you because they want you to buy the glasses from them. They want you to spend $400 on a frame at their place instead of $19 on a frame, and then plus the lens, plus the whatever you need. And so
okay, so let's talk about another thing that didn't exist that I've taken advantage of. Computers. LASIK surgery. That's the reason why I'm not wearing glasses. LASIK is actually this machine, and the laser actually, after they measure everything, it does all the work. There's not a human being doing this. It's all programmed and it shapes your cornea to such a way that it's you can see, and it is one of the best things I've ever done. I got it done 12 years ago, and I'm still fine.
Already? Wow.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it, but I got to talk to my doctor. I think he didn't want to do it until I have my cataracts going. He's been watching my cataracts for probably about 8 years now, maybe more. And every time I go, no, they're not ready. Not ready.
So they could get rid of the cataract.
They can get rid of the cataracts, but they got to be ready, basically. You know how the Romans used to do cataract surgery?
Yeah.
You know how they did it?
That they would get a slave and cross their fingers.
No, they would they would take this little needle thing, put it in your eye. Your eye actually doesn't feel pain. There are no nerve endings in your eye. But just thinking of it, they would put it into your eye and remove the lens. They'd pop it off in the back, and it would just fall inside and be there. But that's how they got rid of cataracts back in the days of the Romans.
Here's another thing that we don't do anymore. That computers do for us. They remember. We use computers far too often to go and search out the answer because we're impatient. We're not willing to exercise our memory, and because of that, people are becoming so dependent on computers that they can't even remember anything.
Yeah, but that still doesn't beat a typical woman, especially your girlfriend or wife, who will remember things that hasn't even happened yet. Okay,
this is
hold it against you.
Yeah, that's actually that's been looked into, and there's a number of excellent human beings that are into that research. The memory thingy. Yeah, sure, that was funny. Anyway,
thank you for killing that joke, making sure it was dead.
It was dead. It was dead on arrival.
Leave the gun. Take the cannolis.
Yeah. Here's another thing. This was a weird thing. I was with a friend of mine, John, and we were in. This is a long time ago. This is like about 30 years ago, and somebody had an Apple phone back then or something like that. It was a long, long time ago, and we were listening to this music, and we said, "Wow, that's a really great song and everything." There was a young guy there who goes, "Oh, we couldn't remember the name of the song." So this guy goes ahead and says, "Let me sample it," and he put his phone next to it, and the phone said, "Okay, that's the name of the song."
Oh yeah, I got 2 programs to do that.
We were dumbfounded because that was that was an impossibility when we were a kid. Just impossible.
You had to remember it, or you didn't,
or you knew somebody who did.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, no, I got 2 programs to do it. One was SoundHound, but Shazam, which my brother turned me on to, it works even better than SoundHound. So I started using Started using Shazam. It's more reliable.
Here's another thing. Photo albums. We used to keep photo albums. Now there's like 10,000 photos on the cloud. None of them mean anything to you. You never you used to get the photos from the Photoshop, okay?
Right.
And on the back you would write the information about what the photo was about. Joey's birthday or Smith and I. But now you see all these photos and you look at them and going, when the hell were these taken?
Well, now you could put them in albums, but it's so time consuming, especially doing it on a little screen. It sucks.
Right.
And then
here the biggest problem is digital cameras. Digital cameras made it possible for you to take pictures with no skill, go through 100 pictures and go, oh, that's the one I like.
Yeah, now, or you could see if the picture came out. Nobody move it. Okay, it's good. Or no, we got to retake it.
Yeah, so. There was a time when you actually had to know what the camera was going to produce. What is the f-spot? What is the focal plane? This, that, and the other thing. What's the speed? Blah, blah, blah. So you had to actually have a sense of the piece of equipment that you're using. Now you have no sense of it. All you know is push the blue thingy. I'm going to push the blue thingy.
Like 50-something years ago, I had a Minolta SRT 101. Okay, it was manual, and I could, I would change the settings over. I could take pictures, for example, of the moon or something, put it on a tripod, take a picture of them, and it would come out nice and get details and so forth. Then eventually, when the automatic ones came out, I traded that in. Stupidest thing I ever did camera-wise. And I got one of the automatic ones. I didn't have the creative control that I had before, because with the manual one, I could estimate, okay, I'm going to leave it open for, let's say, 30 seconds. Then I'll take another one and leave it open 45 seconds. Another one, leave it open, 20 seconds. And then whichever, when it came back, I'd waste that money on the thing, but I had a great picture, and
let's not forget.
With the automatics, I couldn't do that because it would shut off at a certain time. I couldn't control. I couldn't say stay open till I tell you to close down. I just hold it and count in my head and then let go.
Let's not forget that certain films did certain things, and certain film was known to have a little bit more blue or a little bit more red, etc., etc. So you went into that as well. Plus, you had tripods and bipods, and you had lights, a bank of lights on the top that would go off, which bulbs that would burn out. They would flash bulbs that would just burn out.
Remember the Kodak Insta what do they call Instagram, right? And you had the cubes. You bought a pack of 12, so you had three things with 4 bulbs in each. You took a picture and it would rotate to the next one, and then rotate to the next one, rotate until all 4 were burned. Then you threw that out. You put a new one in. But again, you didn't know what was going. You'd take it to the Photoshop or the pharmacy or whatever, leave it there, and it would come back in a week or so. Okay, if you were lucky, it'd come back in like 4 or 5 days. Or you could go to the 1 hour stop, like you said. They had the kiosk. You go in, you drop it off. You're sitting in your car, give it to the guy or the girl, and an hour later you'd come back and it would generally be ready. And then you see the pictures. But now you take the pictures and everybody's like, oh, looking over the picture. You just took it. You know what it looks like. Why are you so interested? You could wait 3 weeks and then, oh, look at this, what I did.
Here's something you don't see very often that the computer has replaced. Calendars. You used to have a calendar usually in the kitchen, and you would put like notations on there, or you'd have a Rolodex, okay? Or you'd have
the address book.
Yeah, or an address book.
They still have those. Some people still do it.
No, they don't. Really.
People our generation still do it.
They don't count. The point is,
I got a calendar on the wall there where I mark all the appointments I have and so forth.
This is the first year I don't have a calendar. You know why? It's in my phone.
And here's a calendar for our interviews.
Yeah, that's very nice for you. Yes.
This I got online. I printed it out online.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That one there, I got
Was it free?
I think the pharmacy gave me that one for free.
Was it free?
This one was free, yeah.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's worthless.
No, actually, it works okay. But I keep that in here. But now I have double trouble because I got to write it there and I got to write it here. So
I forget the proper term for this machine. It was like in the early stages of computers, and we were all kind of shocked. You would, if you want to send a document to another section of the country, you would put it in this machine, and it would copy it.
Fax machine.
Fax machine, yes, they still have them.
Yeah, you know what? You know what existed before fax machine, which was the best way to contact Europe. My father had, besides his bakery business, he also had an import-export business, right? And he used to communicate to Portugal all the time, which is where we bought our stuff from. And there was a telex machine. It was like a big typewriter on a stand. And you sat and you typed. And what happened was, since you paid by the hour, and it was very expensive in those days, not like today where you could just pick up the phone and call somebody as long as they got an iPhone or an Android, they're going to answer, no problem. And it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. But in those days, it would be like maybe $1, $2, $3 a minute, depending where you were calling. So this went through the phone line. So you typed it on, but it typed onto a tape, okay? And that tape, would once you had the thing, you typed that tape, and if everything was okay, then you put that tape in, and you said, okay, send. And it would automatically connect, and then it would send everything. Because if you were sitting on there and having to type one by one and making mistakes, correct, you could be there 10 minutes and it could cost you $100 to send a message.
I got another one.
The fax machine killed that.
See what that is? That's a pencil.
That's a pencil.
And there was a time when people used to use these to add numbers together, but we don't anymore. We just use our freaking calculators. As a matter of fact, sometimes I even forget what the formula is that I'm trying to enter, because I'm doing almost nothing. I'm just entering numbers into this little.
Exactly. Well, that's why they say that you should, whenever you can't do math in your head, because it not only exercises your mind, your brain, but it helps you keep the knowledge the basic knowledge of math that you need. And people, because the school allows the calculator, these kids don't know how to do, a lot of kids don't know how to do things in their head. I'm lucky that my grandkids are mathematically inclined. In fact, one of my granddaughters was put into the, recently inducted into the Mathematics Honor Society. Okay. My grandson is in the Science Society too. And I think he did the math one too. I'm not sure, but he's good with math. My one son is really good with math.
Well, that's a problem, because that means that they're all racists, because math is a white supremacist process. But anyway.
Well, you know what I have to say about that? Too bad. Oh, well.
Remember when, if you had an infestation problem, you used to go to the hardware store and you used to get stuff in order to kill whatever it is that was bothering you? Now we have mice all over the place, and we don't care anymore.
Oh, and look, mine doesn't even have a tail.
Oh, but you just made a tail. Oh my God. Let's see. What else?
Before the internet.
We didn't have podcasts. Actually, schmucks like us couldn't go ahead and get on here and just talk bullshit all day long and get away with it.
That's right.
Are we getting away with that? We're getting away with it, yeah.
Here's the other thing. You're sitting at home. You're going to watch the football game, okay? We got to get food. Either make the food or order it at call up, order it, and have it delivered, or go pick it up. Now, do everything over here. You don't even have to talk to a human being.
Not only that, but you can go ahead and look at the menu on your phone.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's what I hate at a restaurant, though. I mean, I don't like the fact that when you're at a restaurant, you're touching a menu that thousands of people have touched before you. Who knows what the hell diseases they had, okay? What kind of germs they left on the menu. However, I don't like the fact, when they say, take a picture of the menu here, and then look at it on your phone. It's like, first off, you can't read, at our age, it's hard to read on a small screen. Okay, you have to enlarge it, this, that, move it around. But it takes a little longer. But it is convenient and it's more sanitary, you know. But I still don't like it. I prefer. It's just like with books. I can read books on here, but it's annoying. I'd rather have the physical book, hold it in my hands, and feel it, and just know
Okay,
I'm reading.
I got
I
another.
prefer that.
Okay,
But
I'm
I
gonna.
have something even better, and this is
What?
how I'm going to listen to your 8-page thing that you sent me. I have
You're not
something
gonna be
called.
listening to it. You're going to be reading it, aren't you?
I'm going to be. Well, no, this is going to be reading it to me.
Oh, well, it's good. That's going to suck.
Really?
Yeah, because it doesn't. It's not going to. Nah, I'm sorry.
Not going to
That
what?
Well, the problem is that that's going to give you a mechanical approach towards the conversation. There won't be any humanity in it.
No, actually, it's not too bad. Well, yeah. I mean, if I need something, and look at it this way: if I when we had who was it that we had on, and I had he'd sent me his book. One of our guests sent me his book, but I couldn't read the whole thing, so I got a summary from Grok of the book. I put it into that program, Speechify, I think it's called. And while I'm doing stuff around the house, I was cleaning, I was doing this, that, it read it to me. So I got everything I needed from that, from the summary. I didn't have time to read the whole book, unfortunately. You know.
Okay.
But with A.J. Rice, I'm reading The Walking Dead. I want to read the whole thing. I would have read more this morning, but since he canceled, I'll get to it later. We got a few days
Here's another
before I have
thing.
to finish it. So
Another
I'm going to
thing
read your thing first.
that you can do on the computer now, and that is you can get dopamine. It used to be that if you had a fix, if you were addicted to something, you had to go to your local uh, drug seller, whatever you call them. I forgot. I forget.
Drug dealer?
And yeah, drug
Pharmacist?
dealer, and buy and buy your drugs. But now all you got to do is go online and get your thumbs up. Hopefully, you don't get too many thumbs down. Otherwise, you're going to be depressed and commit suicide. So there's that. Get
Are
your
you talking
dopamine.
about like things you post? How many? I stopped even looking at how many people like or dislike my posts. Once in a while, I'll go on and I see something that annoys me, and I'll answer. But I'm wasting my time arguing with these people, especially if you're arguing with an idiot leftist. You're not going to win because they will bring it down to you can't argue with stupid people. They'll bring it down to your level and beat you with experience.
Well, first of all, there's no such thing as an argument with them. There's simply them screaming at you and using their bullhorn. That's not an argument.
Yeah, they
That's
won't. They won't listen. There's no dialogue.
Yeah. There's no dialogue.
There's no
So
dialogue.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot.
Yes, and we can't cover everything. And problem with the subject like this is that the people that are listening probably have thought of 20 things that we should have
That we
said.
didn't cover, yeah.
But
But you know what? We have a comment section. Please write something in the comments. Say, "Oh, you forgot this," or or how about this, or whatever. Make a comment. Come on, we'd like to see that once in a while.
and the thing is that you can even do a thumbs down. We just want some sort of input. We're kind of like an nymphomaniac. We'll take anything you give me.
We want some dopamine.
Well, yeah. The two dopes want some dopamine. So anyway, thank you very much.
Anyway, that's it for this episode of The View from Here, Behind Enemy Lines. It was another fun episode, and I think entertaining and educational as well.
Right, and also it was unscripted, and
Completely.
if you don't recognize that after watching it this far, then I suggest you talk to AI, and they'll give you some advice.
Okay, so long. We'll see you next time on The View from Here, Behind Enemy Lines. There you go.